Hey Taurus. This is You Like That? It was like a cheerleading move. Just kidding, never did that. But hi, this is your Cancer season, July 2024 reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version of this reading, which will be in your first link below. Check it out, 24 to 48 hours. I'm doing my best not to rush through it because promoting myself is really important, and I want you guys to check out all the great information. The ones from June have been coming out, so check those out. First card out. Podcast will be out this week. New video as well, maybe out this week for the new moon, so check that out as well. Let me know if you like that. I can do more of that. Wow. First card out in Cancer season is the King of Swords. What is that, Taurus? That's Mars. That's Mars influence. Yeah, it is. Look at this shit. All swords. All swords. Okay. The first thing I would say to you is that even this situation deserves it. Whoever this Five of Swords situation is going down with, they deserve everything you have coming to them. Because it's what they have coming to them. It's not even what you have coming to them. But may I suggest how you go about this? And my Taurus friends would all suggest this to me as well as a Taurus rising. And I learned from them as Taurus suns. You don't want to not say anything. But you don't want to say too much or the wrong thing. Is there right and wrong in the school of life? No, but for your karma, for what's coming to you, for what's happening this month, this is a lot about Mars transcending your sign right now, and how, regardless of how you say it or how you want to say it, you have to put a lot of energy into that, because it may come off sharp, strong, too much for those people in your life. And you may realize what people, even if they give it, who can't take it. You'll also realize where unnecessary energy or subconscious energy in your communication, what you haven't been acting upon, and where that's getting stuck in your verbal communications. Like, if you want to do something, do it, but understand when you could be taking it out on someone. Sorry. Just an adjustment. Perfect. Or when it's really to clear things up. Because you're going to clear out a lot. Especially a situation that's been going on for far too long, maybe 5 years too long. That's just my cat playing in his box. He likes his box. He's now under the box. This is also clearing up any traditions or anything that's been a grounding force in your life. You're finding a connection spiritually to that grounding force, and that being also your voice, and what your voice looks like now. What you may be experiencing through the vibration that is your own, through the way you speak, through how you speak, through what's being said. What are you holding back? What do you need to release more of? Where is that? Where is the grace for you, Taurus? But for some of you, this is about the fact that you've put up boundaries. You've also may have already clarified them. You may not be a Taurus that loves to repeat yourself, but you may need to give people the patience that you also expect and want and deserve. That can be divided amongst people and how close they are to you, of course. I'm not suggesting just simply be the same way with other people. And now this month, and between last month and this month, last month you got this, you were shown, okay, who doesn't care enough about themselves to care about me? Because that's the harsh truth for those of you watching for Taurus. Some of you who care too much about them, you realize that they've just been caring too much about you while trying to care for themselves, and now they don't have the wherewithal, now they don't have the energy. They're just getting really clear on their bullshit. They're going for better things. So for those of you watching for Taurus, just realize that if you're not in their life, it's because you haven't made enough effort. And they're tired of that. they're actually gaining a lot of energy by taking back their power in certain ways and releasing other dynamics. And one of them is their psyche. We're going to get a little more woo-woo than normally when I say if you need to cut anyone off, if a person or an emotion from a person or a situation keeps popping up in your head, or something keeps popping up when you're moving your body because it's coming from your body, address it. Be with it. Give it the attention it deserves, the attention that you deserve and that part of you deserves, because through that is something that you will find in your psyche that brings you somewhere else. You then go on a voyage through yourself, maybe even have a vision, and you move. You move from that situation or that person. You move away from and choose differently. You take responsibility for where you have maybe been trying to control the situation. You can't anymore. This Cancer season's like, Taurus, this is too much. Like, you got other things to do. You got some shit to create. You got some places, people to see, places to be. You may want to be a little lighter on your feet. So therefore, if that is the intention, and you may realize where you're heavy, what's heavy, who's heavy, what you need to let go of. No shade, no harm, all love. I've learned that doesn't mean really that, right? Which is funny, we have two kings here. The masculine side of you, regardless of how you identify, how you learned from the men in your life, the male figures in your life, that will become very apparent to you at this time. Your identity in that way is shifting and shaping of how you decide to carry your vulnerability and how you move forward and how you look at it and see it, what your relationship is to that, to your value, to your money, to your boundaries. So when something comes up, do you compromise your value? Because you are a sign with so much integrity, but when it comes to your money, there could be a time where maybe you compromise. But that, Taurus, I'm here to say, for those of you who haven't had this said or you haven't thought about it, just think about that a little bit more. You really do want to have especially integrity with that, even if it takes a little longer, because that patience that you have is going to, of course, give you a tenfold return with karma. But that's not why you're doing it, right? Because if that's why you're doing it, that won't happen either. This is because you want to. This is like a deep purifying. You're being purified, exfoliated, because there's grit to it. One thing about integrity is that it's spelled with grit. Not to get too cheesy or corny, but it's true. Another king out. What the fuck? Power dynamics, masculine dynamics, you're masculine, your ability to hold it and hold another, different suitors. There might be suitors that come out of hiding because you have truly come out of hiding and you weren't looking for that, and you'll either let them down easy or, maybe see where it goes. I wouldn't make any crazy commitments this month, but you just notice what the person's willing to commit to. Notice where your integrity may want to be compromised, because emotions, relationships, money, it's all entangled. This is the Venusian wave. You are ruled by Venus and the moon. We're in the moon, the energy of the moon this month. So think of this month as a rotating moon of ebbs and flows, ins and outs, ups and downs, just to round it all off. The one thing, though, you notice is you're getting closer to yourself. You're getting closer to what it is that you really do want, what it is that you do already have. Sorry for all the movement. It's just that whenever my body feels too uncomfortable, I have to move something, and that's where I realized I didn't move it correctly, but whatever. So, not compromising, unless it's someone important to you, unless it makes sense, but it's more not compromising your needs. Like, your needs are being met, your voice is being heard. The first part of the month, there's a lot of action, because what you're saying with your action says a lot. That's what I meant by like, don't say too much. Your actions will say a lot more. And how you move on or beyond the situation, that says even more. What you feel after says even more to you. But that energy is then communicated, and it's a ripple effect throughout your life, because that will be carried forward. And anything that comes in the way of that, or tries to or resists that, you'll be shown like, oh, this is where your weak spot is. This is where you need more practice, right? When I say weak, I just mean it's a muscle that needs to become stronger. And if you find that you feel like even your throat's becoming stronger because you're speaking more in your tone, in your place, from your heart, from your energy, you're getting clearer with your psyche. If you're using those abilities more, allowing them to come through more, regardless if you have all the facts, regardless if it's written in a book, you know, it's what's coming from you. It's everything that you've filtered through, and it's the messages you're getting. You're trusting that more, which is making you feel more powerful than you could have ever felt by a man in power, or a woman in power, or another person being attracted to you that's in power. It's your power. It's actually your power, Taurus. It's your power and your ability to adjust in real time. What's that look like? You're like, I'm fixed earth. I don't know. Why don't you help me? I can't always help you with that. You have to be careful. You can be a little sharp this month, but you know what? Using it in the right way, wielding it in the right direction, well, that will be helpful. It'll be very helpful for you. Because you're supposed to be on the other end of that sword sometimes. You're supposed to have depth. You're meant to have depth. That's who you are. You're just expressing it more. You're revealing yourself more. You're taking that emotional risk. That's where you've been stuck. So I know it sounds so crazy sometimes. I don't work, I'm not an advisor. I'm not a health specialist, none of that. But through my study of energy, manifestation, adding what you need to add, what needs to come out, what are things that are processing through you, the digesting, the processing of this earthly plane and through our physical bodies, and just communicating and learning and listening, right? Not me needing to prove myself to you, but of course, you're like, well, where does this come from? When, weirdly enough, if you're finding stagnancy in your life, and we've talked about it many times, whether it's real in love, like you're not meeting anyone, or you want to make more money, or you're working for yourself and you're seeing this plateau, or creatively you're not inspired, all of these different things, sometimes it's through some kind of weird action, something that's been coming up intuitively with you, whether it's giving or receiving, whatever it is that's happening. Most of the time it's usually you needing to break yourself through, right? That then allows the income to come in. That allows the conversation. That allows the relationship, because it's not just letting go, right? You're letting go by action, and that is digestion. You're not acting, but you're acting, right? You're shifting the energy. You're becoming someone different. You're not just portraying it. It's not just an act. It's you never having a hard conversation, but then choosing to, and then following through with it, and having that hard conversation with someone, stating your needs, being honest with yourself, being vulnerable, but then deciding that whatever their response or reaction is, you get to decide the way that you want to. You get to move the way you want to, out of respect for yourself, out of integrity for yourself. And sometimes that looks like taking a risk. That might break up this emotional pattern. That being brave with yourself and with your vulnerability and who you are, because you are you. No one else made you. Well, not technically. You are what you've become. And what comes from this, opportunities, love interests, adventures, whatever it is that comes from this person or this place or this time in your life, is all because of the way that you have chosen to go about it and how you've reacted and how you've responded. None of it is perfect. Everyone's is going to look different, but yours is, it's all in divine timing. But if you can have patience and you can sit back and find some deep breaths this month, all that energy that you would be giving with Mars outwardly, all this unsolicited advice or I know what's best attitude. If you know it's best, then you know it's best for yourself. So do that. That's what you're going to do. When you're done realizing that you could have, would have, should have, when you're done letting someone else decide your worth, not that you're actively doing it, but maybe coming upon the realization and like, oh, this can look different. Matter of fact, this is different. Matter of fact, upon the new moon and the retrogrades in Pisces, you're dreaming different. You realize that you can, as much as you can identify with something, is as much as you can unidentify with it. The risk for you is emotional and therefore monetary. And it could be little, but for some of you, it could be big. For Taurus risings, I'm showing you who I am now by the action that I'm taking. I don't want to explain myself further. Just watch and listen. Because here's the thing, if I said it out loud, this is how you're gonna hear it, and I don't know how else to say it. And so by not saying anything and doing instead, I am helping you. I am allowing you to reflect. I am ... whatever that is. For others of you, you're being pushed to speak up. And for some of you, acting is speaking up. Moving on is speaking up. Speaking up for yourself. Standing in yourself, with yourself, for yourself, by yourself. You are not alone. You are not alone. Haha. I was hoping for one card and look at the freaking bottom. What? We'll get in more of that into the second part, but I might talk about it a little now. I love being in the Venusian energy. We can stay here and chat all day. Communicated to you directly. This is the time to move any energy that's been heavy in your life, that's been needing attention in your life, that's been cared for, maybe in the wrong way or not cared for, and noticing where you have been cared for and where you haven't, and where that has brought weakness to your strategy. Disciplined, spiritually, unattached, even though a lot of things will come into your life, a lot of people will come into your life, a lot of opportunities will come into your life. This is about understanding who you become because of it and who you're becoming because of it. This is about, sorry about that. This is about how you, the bravery that you are, and the courage comes at the end of the month. That you go through this month and you notice what comes to you. Who comes to you? What they come to you for. Maybe it's to give, maybe it's to receive, maybe it's both, maybe it's a connection, maybe it's where you see in them where you're also stuck, or an insecurity, where you're not believing in yourself enough and you get the message that you receive, that you need throughout this. You know, it could be easy to just go back into the story, but it takes my favorite word right now, gumption, to move on. You know, people can talk and think that they're resolving something, and you know, at the end you're both fine, and then all of a sudden you realize that they haven't moved on, because you see how they act. There's words and then there's words. You know, love is a verb. And this month it'll become very clear. The verbiage will become very clear to you. The words very strong and supportive at this time that you need to hear are heard by you first. You need to tell yourself and be clear to yourself about what you're experiencing, and then you move forward with what you're unwilling to experience further, at least for now at this time, maybe forever, out of respect for yourself, respect for your psyche, respect for others. And at the end of the month, you'll be given the time and the space to open up, to say what it is that you need to say and how it is that you need to say it, and expose by truth. Careful around Sages this month. Just saying. Just be careful. Just don't be on the other end of fire if you're not looking to play. You know what I mean? Don't be on the other end of fire if you're not willing to play. Sorry if I'm talking too soft. I was told it's hard to hear me sometimes. I do have a soft voice, but I'm learning to project it in all the ways. Yeah. Let it come to you. An idea, the answer, the truth. Because you feel it. Especially when you're in a relaxed state, you can feel it even more. Therefore, you can feel when it's time that you need to say something, when it's time to provide the answer, if there is one, to give when being asked, to give to yourself the time, the opportunity. What you value becomes way more important and more obvious, not just through money, how you utilize it, but through the experience of your life right now. Why is it that you need and must say something? Even if others are looking at you for answers, who says that you have them all? It's okay that you don't. Steer clear, and I think energies will just naturally steer clear of you that don't want that tone. But just know that that's a ripple effect, so be careful what you start, what you say, and do your best to resolve it if you can. If you can't, I think you're prepared for the task. The way you handle yourself, the way you handle yourself will become very clear through the month, but by the end. And what energies affect it. Affect you. The lovely thing about what Mars does for your tone is you just say it how the fuck it is, even if it hurts, even if it's hard, even if it's sharp. But you also have to be careful of that power, as you already know. All right. This intuitive energy goes far, 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 far beyond just seer. It's strong, it's powerful, and I'm sorry for any outside noise that you hear. You may not hear it, but I hear it really loudly. So I'm going to get into the second part right away. Please check it out. It's in the link below. Taurus, your readings are always so juicy. Not my favorite word, but we're going to use it. Abundant. And we'll see you next month. All right, just be careful. Be careful. Caution when wielding. Caution when feeling blood boil. Caution when you can't fix the structure that you may break. Do you want to be responsible for that? And if yes, be prepared to be up for the task that lies ahead. And I really do know that you are. And I love you. We'll see you next month.